Thank you for joining us on the Southwest Florida Business Podcast. I'm your host, Chris, and today I'm joined by Destiny from the Naples Aesthetician. And I actually learned a lot on this episode just about really, strangely enough, how acne works and kind of the, I almost call it like the cycle of acne and what comes with the infection versus your skin healing and things along these lines. So, some of the things that we dove into there actually finally made this stuff click in my head. You know, I've heard about it for years and years. I had acne back in high school, and I don't know, it just never really made sense until I had this conversation. So, if you're dealing with acne or you're dealing with any skin issues, anything like that, at the very least, go check out her Instagram page because she puts out a lot of good informational content, things that you can run with on your own. But she also takes a pretty unique approach to how she helps her customers. It's not very, one size fits all. She actually works with them every other week, step by step, and based on where you're currently at. So, if you're more dried out, she works to heal your skin. If you have more of an infection, she actually focuses on treating that. So, it's a cool approach to this. And if this is, like I said, if this is something that you've been dealing with, or you know somebody that's been dealing with this, have them listen to this episode and then reach out to her, because I think you'll be pleasantly surprised about the amount of stuff that she knows. And then we also dig into the more business side of things. Her background is very unique. She comes from the business world, and it was really cool for me to learn about how she manages cash flow and things like that. So I got a lot out of this episode. I think that you will too. And without further ado, please enjoy this episode with Destiny. This episode is brought to you by Southwest Florida Podcast. If you're a business in Southwest Florida and you want to use a podcast to grow your business, scan the QR code on your screen or visit the link in the show notes at www.swflpodcast.com. Enjoy the show.
Yeah, that's just my main goal. I'm just trying to educate everyone, so you don't necessarily have to buy off my page, but when you're buying, be more educated and know what you're putting into your skin, because there's so many things out there that they can literally put on the shelf because it's approved, but it doesn't mean that it's good for your skin.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's dig into that. But Destiny, thank you for joining me. I really appreciate it. So let's dig into it. So can you tell me about the business, and then maybe we can dig into how it got started? And I want to talk to you about your finance background, and then hopefully we can jump into some of these different aspects of skincare, where people are struggling with this stuff, how you're helping them, and we can even circle back to what you just said about the types of products that people are using, and probably a lot of it comes down to either no information or misinformation. So, let's jump into it.
So I started Beauteous. Well, first I got my esthetician license in 2019. My mom taught me everything I know, and so after I got my license, I decided I was going to go on my own because I come from a long line of business owners, the women in my family. So I created Beauteous, and I opened Beauteous in February 2020. And then, of course, as everybody knows, the world shut down.
Was there something that happened in 2020 or something?
I know, right? Well, we all just stayed at home for a little bit.
Worldwide vacation, something like that.
Yes, Coronacation, I called it. So, so I spent most of that time just educating myself and, just revisiting on what my content could be and who my ideal audience is and what they wanted. So I felt that a lot of people were listening to the do-it-yourselfers and then coming to me with barrier problems and all the different things. So I decided I needed to, take this time to educate myself and translate that into a message.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So what got you, was your mom an esthetician?
Yes.
Okay.
She's an esthetician.
All right. Is that how so what made you switch over to being an esthetician?
So I really wanted to start over. I had a hard life back in Ohio, so I wanted to start over with my kids. And back then, I have my degree in financial management, so I was doing a lot of tax advising, a lot of taxes, and it was a lot of stress. So when I came here and started over, I just learned a lot from my mom, and she taught me everything, and it was a nice switch because like one side was like it felt rewarding, but it was really stressful. This is rewarding and not stressful.
Okay, nice. Yeah, you've already been through the ringer with something that is stressful, technical, difficult, and you're like, all right, I want to eliminate that piece, at least reduce that piece for whatever the next chapter is, pretty much.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, got it. Well, and so what were you doing in that field? So like what was kind of the day-to-day work that you were doing in the tax field? And then I kind of want to talk about how that's translated to what you do with your business now.
Sure. So I used to work with a tax attorney, and we used to help companies. There was this one company, she really needed help because there was a lot of fraud going on and stealing. So I would help, the tax attorney to find all the different fraudulent things and just basically balance the books and show them what, needed to be looked at. And we would, work together and get the businesses in order. And then I did a lot of taxes before that. So before I could do all that cool stuff, I had to do a lot of tax returns and mentoring with a lot of different people.
Got it. So you ended up learning like the kind of the tax system and how all that stuff worked in and out. And then from there you went almost, it seems like forensic accounting kind of.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And that was really neat. I love that. So, and I took that down here with me when I moved. So I was still, dealing with accounts up there and going to school here. So I think it always just was together in my mind, the finance and the beauty. So it kind of makes sense that now it's still, together because it's a part of me.
So what was that transition like going from getting your license, bringing that stuff down here and working remotely? And then when were you able to, or how long did the transition take? And then when were you able to kind of actually dive into this full time?
So it was really, I took a job to kind of just save up money and buy things little by little. But after I was done training, I just started looking for places and took the time to really just find the ideal location. But when everything shut down, it gave me a lot more time to just, look. So I just took that time, and then when the opportunity arose, I just jumped on it. It's just a simple situation that it just ends up working out.
Yeah. And that was at J. Lee Sweets?
Yes, at J. Lee Salon Suites with JC. She's amazing. I've been with her for so many years, and she's been so supportive of my business and my mom's.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And so how did you see like a path forward this, like actually starting this as a business and diving into it? Was there any kind of moment that was like, oh, okay, I know I can do this?
I think I've always known that I could do this. This was always my goal. Before I had the beauty business, I had the accounting business. So whenever I worked for somebody, it was still my own business, and I had to manage everything on the back end. So I basically I feel like I just changed my role, but I haven't changed any hats.
Got it.
Because as a business owner, you still have to do all the things.
Yeah. You're still running all the back end stuff, but then you're also having to deliver for customers.
Mm-hmm. And that's my main stress. Like I'm going home worrying if my client is, happy and,
Yeah.
That's it. But yeah.
Yeah, it's a huge piece of it. And it's that also keeps me awake at night. And also getting into, like, I'm starting to expand the business to do other things, like filming other videos. And yesterday I just filmed an online course. And
yeah, I saw that. I was like, uh-oh.
Yeah. And so going into these things, it can be nerve-wracking leading up to it. Like I knew that it was going to be a long day. I knew we were going to start at 7 a.m. And so I didn't really sleep that much the night before. And I got here at like 5 in the morning just to prep everything, test out all the equipment, make sure it was good to go. And that helped. But I'm glad I did it because I needed all of those 2 hours to prep as you launch this stuff. But what was it? So do you get any of those nerves when you start these new pieces and wanting to make sure you're prepping for customers and take care of them?
Oh yeah. Sometimes I have the biggest stage fright, and I think it can get the best of any business owner. But I think that's just what keeps you humble. That's what keeps your passion alive, because you're trying so hard to do what you're doing, and it's just
yeah. So why is customer service like an important piece to you?
Because I feel like when they walk away with a bad experience, I've had a bad experience too, it weighs on you. And I don't want to do that to somebody. I want them to leave knowing that they spent great, not only just spent the money, but they left feeling refreshed, renewed, confident. And those are things that, money really can't buy unless, you can interpret it that way. But
sure. And so what is it like for customers to come work with you? Like when you're working with customers and they come to you, I'm sure they're all in all different places, but where are they typically at when they come to you, just in terms of we've tried other stuff and we don't know what to do? Like where are your customers typically at in their journey when they find you?
So most clients, they usually have, like, if they're coming in with that concern, it's usually with acne, because it's really a confidence issue, and they've tried everything under the sun. Sometimes it could be like a pigment issue, whether people have sun damage. That's a lot. That's really common down here in Florida, is sun damage, but mostly acne. Acne is really, really big, and people don't know how to deal with it. And there's so many things out there. Like, you can get a whole line, and it's like the whole line is stripping your skin. So, and you don't know it. You think, you're doing something good by buying the line you saw on TV or saw in the grocery store.
Got it. And so so let's stick with acne for now. Let's kind of go down that path. So when somebody comes to you, what is the process like? Let's say I've got acne, I've had it for a few years now, and I'm trying to deal with it. I've tried all these different things. Can we walk through what the process is like of what it's like to work with you, from coming to you all the way to the treatments, how that works, and then where you usually leave people off?
Yeah. So usually if they're my acne clients, they find me through Face Reality. Face Reality has like a 99%, it's a 99% success rate. So you get phenomenal results with a little bit of treatment. So we do about 12 acne boot camps per client. And I like to start there. But before that moment happens, I like for them to know, like, I'm here for you. I like to get some before pictures that they've taken, because a lot can change and in that short time frame. And I like to see what they're experiencing in that moment when they're frustrated, and because things can change. In acne, it can be the type of the hair conditioner you're using, or, the makeup you're using, or the diet you're eating. And when we look at all those different factors week by week by week, and I teach the client week by week, like, how to eat, how to prepare their clothes, how to do that. It's a longer process than just one, consultation. But at first, I like to let them know, like, this is going to be the process. We're going to branch off in these areas, and I have a little onboarding video so that they can see all of the things that that's coming up ahead. Got
it. So that way they know what to expect. Pretty much when they go in, it's like, hey, here, I'm looking for this information. Tell me what you're using product-wise, what you're eating, all these things. So you're basically building a full picture of that person, so you can understand actually what the path needs to be moving forward.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's not just hey, this one size fits all kind of.
Yeah, no fluff facials. I mean, I do have those,
Sure.
but I really, really like to help people feel more confident when they're walking in anywhere in life, just to feel that confidence, like, nobody's looking at my face, they're looking at me.
Yeah. So how did you decide to more focus on people going through that than just the fluff facials?
I think for me, it's not really about me, it's about them. Like just seeing them when they're like emotional and they're just so happy, and just see how their whole lives change throughout the whole process. Like they're like going through different things. Like I'm an esthetician, but I also feel like I'm a therapist. So they go there and then they unload and they're going through things. But as they're building their confidence, as they're getting to know themselves more, I can see them changing. And that's what it's all about for me.
Yeah.
Is seeing the transformation, because for me, I went through a transformation, and this is part of my healing process.
Okay. And so did you have like a transformation? Was like skincare part of like a transformation that you went through, like fixing this for yourself?
Yes. So I have a lot of scarring all over my body. So I had to do a lot of fixing, scar revision. And that's the reason why I love DMK so much. It's another line I have, and they specialize in scar revision. And I was able to do all types of stuff, like from stretch marks to scars, because stretch marks are scars. They're just collagen tears. But it's really, really neat to learn through that process of how to heal. It was really neat for me.
Wow. Okay. And so, and then going through that process, you're able to actually keep that in mind of like, okay, if I know if someone comes in with like stretch marks or scars, things like that, all right, I have a solution that will most likely work for you, and you can kind of give a personal testimonial.
Yeah,
okay.
Definitely. Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. All right. And so, then you said there's like a 12 session boot camp?
Yes.
All right. So what goes into the boot camp?
So with the boot camps, so you come in 12 boot camps every 2 weeks, and we analyze your skin. And in those 12 weeks, we're either doing an acne peel or we're doing a hydrating enzyme treatment, depending on where your skin is at. Some people may need more boot camps. Some people may need less. And I put you on a regimen for your skin, and then we meet every 2 weeks, and we just kind of discuss everything, like how's your diet, has anything changed, what's your stress levels at, all of the things. So that's what we kind of go through for 12 weeks. And then at the end, we kind of assess like how far we've come, do we need to do more, or what I like to do is venture off into microneedling so we can take care of the scarring.
What's microneedling?
Microneedling, collagen induction therapy. I love it so much. So I have this skin pen, and it is the first FDA-regulated microneedling pen. And it offers, it's FDA approved first for acne scarring. So it's just the most amazing pen. I love it. So with like 1 to 3 treatments, you can see immediate results. 6 sessions, your face is transformed. Like acne scarring that's like really built up on the skin can just really lighten up. And that's a really good treatment to segue to right after the boot camps.
Okay. All right. So so you've got the boot camp, and then the way that you run that is you started off with that initial piece of let's kind of level set and see where your baseline is. And then we're going to work with you, what is that? Pretty much over the course of like 6 months, like 5 to 7 months of, okay, you're here. And then maybe if you're more dried out, we're going to do the hydrating.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And then if you're good to go on that, we're probably going to focus on the acne facial and the peel and everything. Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. So it's not even just like hey, we'll do this initial consultation and then here's your thing. It's something that you're working in real time with people as they go through.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And then giving them a morning and nighttime regimen. And most of the products that I have are they're all medical grade, but some of them are prescription strength. So I might add like a prescription strength to their regimen just to kind of boost the regimen that they have based on their customized needs.
Got it. Okay. And then, so is the process any different for something like scarring or stretch marks? Like, what do you normally see the processes like with that? How do you mean? Just like... So do you do like a boot camp kind of thing with that as well?
Yes, I do. I do a boot camp with the microneedling. And so what we do is we do it in sessions of 3 or 6. I really prefer to do 6 because that's where you can get a lot of results, and the results keep growing and working even like 6 months after the treatment. So the results that you get even just 2 weeks after, those aren't your final results. It takes a long time for collagen to grow, especially the type 1 collagen that we're really seeking after to grow.
So does this treatment basically, you provide the treatment, is it giving your skin the ability to start healing itself? Is that kind of like the concept behind it?
Exactly. So with microneedling, I'm tricking your skin into thinking there was some injury that happened, and so it sends all these red blood cells to the surface, and you're really, really red. But the point of that is because I'm putting all of these serums. I use Anti-Age as well, MD, but it's got the transaminic acid that helps to brighten the cells, and it's a UV blocker as well. So it really, really helps with microneedling because I can really drive it deep into the surface, and the blood can pick up the nutrients and take it everywhere it needs to heal the skin.
Oh, okay. So basically the way that it's working is the microneedling is, so you're putting the serum on, then you do the microneedling. So it's basically, in a way, this might be the wrong word, but like aggravating that piece of the skin. So your body is like, oh my God, we're under attack. Yeah. We need to send all of our resources there. So the blood rush is there, and basically it's met with a bunch of nutrients, and then your blood's like, all right, well, I guess we'll take these nutrients, and then that gets into the skin that way. Mm-hmm. Whoa.
It's pretty neat. But what device you use is so important because you are doing a controlled injury. So when you have a needle, like most needles that you buy, some of them are hooked. So, and you'll never know because if you buy them off of Amazon, you don't have a microscope to be like...
Because they're microscoc size needles,
the
essentially.
Tips are, yeah. Well, they're like big tips, but each tip, there could be like 42 needles in a little head, and it's really hard to see. So sometimes they'll be like hooked. I have a picture of it. I could show you later.
Okay.
But that will pull and tear at the skin. And Skin Pen, they guarantee their needles. And since they're FDA approved, they're consistent with the point straight needle. And that's why I love them. So when we're going in with that injury, we're going in nice and clean every single time.
Got it. Okay. And so is it like, so it's a single needle that has a bunch of smaller needles on the tip. Okay. Wow. Oh, all right.
Like a little bed of needles, and they go up.
Okay. Got it. And so, like, what's kind of the standards, like, what's the size range of doing, like, micro needling? Is it, like, we just cover, like, a couple square inches, or do you go over, like, somebody's whole face or whole back with it?
So microneedling can be done all over the body. Usually it's done over the face and the neck, just because when you do your face and your neck doesn't really... doesn't match anymore.
Got to do both.
Yeah, because you'll be anti-aging hair and then like not hair.
Got the turkey neck.
Yeah. And the Skin Pen is perfect for that. It really helps to tone and tighten that skin.
Okay, so is that used for acne healing as well, or is it more after you go through this acne boot camp process, and then when your skin's kind of getting back to a baseline, then you start using this pen, or do you use it when acne is like active?
So we can't use the pen when it's active because we don't want any more bacteria to just spread. Yeah. Okay. So that's our main goal. We want to wait until the barrier has completely reestablished itself, and then we can go in and do a controlled injury to reestablish that barrier and the way that the skin looks.
What's the barrier?
Our barrier is basically the skin cells and the moisturizing and the ceramides and hydrating factors that hold our skin together. So it's like brick and mortar. So the ceramides are kind of like the gooey stuff, and then our skin cells are in the middle. So if we don't keep ourselves hydrated, then it's going to be, our barrier will be compromised, and then bacteria can get inside. And that's how we get acne and other issues such as wrinkling and hyperpigmentation.
Okay. All right. And so like acne is more of just a long-standing like active infection that's getting through that barrier pretty much?
Yeah.
Okay. And then so it's basically inside the castle and it's just running around and your
just
mission.
The first level though, because our skin is a barrier. It works as a barrier for our organs so they're not, compromised. So in that aspect, the very first layers are, just a little playhouse, I guess, for germs, but
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Got it. And so I know you touched on it before, but like what kind of transformation are you seeing happen with the people that come in when you do these boot camps? You go through it. It's probably not a fun process necessarily to be analyzing yourself so closely. But like what are you seeing? I guess emotionally or mentally, what's the transformation after they've gone through this boot camp and done this stuff? I mean, what are you seeing from most of your customers that go through it?
I've seen everything. I've seen tears. I've seen complete happiness. I've just seen like people find their confidence again, just find who they are. What really gets to me is when they're emotional because they've battled with something for so long and now they see the results of their hard work. And, it really is like 80% home care, 20% skincare. So if you listen to me, I promise you, we will figure this out together.
So what's the 80% home care?
So what you come to me max twice a month, but you do your skincare twice a day. So you can do a mini treatment twice a day, depending on what your regimen is. You don't have to have a 10-step routine like I do, but we could cover the basics twice a day with just the vitamin C serum and some other products.
Okay. And do you help people come up with that? Is that individualized to them too?
Yeah, based on their goals. Like if they really want something that's like they don't really care how many products, they want to just tackle it all from every which way, then I give them all of my recommendations. If they really want a simple regimen because they're always on the go, I can help them with that way too. But the results are still the same. It just depends on, if you want to do more.
Got it. And then kind of how they live their life, whether they're traveling all the time or...
And actually doing it because you have to do it. You can't sleep in your makeup. You can't sleep in your sunscreen. You have to wash your face before you go to bed and right when you get up.
Yeah. Do you feel like you have to almost shake people sometimes? Like, you got to stop doing this.
Yes. I'm like, why are you sleeping in your makeup? We just pulled all this out.
We just did this. This is what we just paid for. Mm-hmm. You took all this time to come down here.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess that's how it goes with any of these self-improvement pieces, though, is you do have to show up. So so that's probably a good piece of this too. So what are some of the ways that you help people kind of stay on this regimen, and how what's that process like to give them this plan moving forward? How do they stick to it?
So I give them a plan and I let them know when to expect their products to run out so they can plan ahead. I also have drop shipping if they forget at their last appointment, I didn't pick any up. You can just go to my website and just order it, and it'll show up at your door.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Just removing as many of those barriers as possible, pretty much.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And I know that we all are busy and we need to, get on with our lives. So I try to make it as easy as possible, even with booking and ordering and all that.
Nice. Okay, cool. Well, if you're cool with shifting gears, I kind of want to ask you some of the ways that you bring in that background, the finance background, into running this business. So I know that a big piece of what we talked about, I guess 2 weeks ago now, was that you like helping other estheticians kind of bridge the gap between almost artist slash kind of doctor to business owner. So what are some of the, let's start with, I guess, what are some of the principles or the way that you ran your business in the finance world? How have you applied some of those pieces to running this business?
So I always like to maintain my cash flow. And by doing that, I can really protect the integrity of the treatments and the ongoing, process of the spa. So when I have a treatment, I take out my taxes, I take out everything, and I make sure I save everything in the appropriate accounts so that I can restock. And I teach these estheticians to do, to kind of think of their money in a different way. Like you have to take out your profits, you have to take out these certain amounts in order for you to be able to restock and, pay the government and do that without stress. Because if you spend all of this money now because it's right in front of you, you're going to regret it a lot later on down the road. So a lot of that is just kind of like teaching them, like, you need to, first step is probably like establishing your business, getting a business account, really finding out what your niche is and what your strengths are and what your weaknesses are so you can know who to hire. And because that's where you should be hiring, is where your weaknesses are.
Yeah. Yeah, and things that free you up to be able to go do the things that you're actually good at. Mm-hmm. Okay.
And you want to do in life too.
Yeah, for sure.
Like vacation.
Definitely. But figuring out that baseline first.
Yeah.
Okay. And so, all right, so you mentioned with cash flow, and we were talking about this just before we started rolling, and it got me thinking kind of differently about this stuff. So can you kind of break down the way you look at cash flow and where you send this stuff to? You mentioned putting money in different accounts just to prep for, taxes, for paying people, for buying more product. Like, how do you envision that? What does that flow like? What's that cash flow like?
So, if it's depending on if it's a service or a retail, I take the cost of everything, like the gloves that I use, just everything, the gauze. I take that cost out of the service, and then I take the taxes out, and then I manipulate the account to move the money into another account. And then that way, when it's time to pay my taxes, I take my tax account, all my money is already there, and then I just pay the tax bill. I don't have to figure that out when it's time to pay taxes, because every single time I swipe, my taxes automatically go there. And then my, depending on the service, my back bar fee, what I call back bar fee, goes here. And then my profits are, safe. And then I can really operate off of that. Like, how do I pay myself? How do I invest back into Beauteous? Do I need an employee? Stuff like that, or savings. Savings is a really big slice of the pie, and you should always be saving out of everything. As even if it's just, I save right now. I think I make sure on top, like, and I always put more away, but I always make 1% automatically just go, because you're not even gonna see that. You're not even gonna notice that, and anything you put on top of that, it's just gonna grow.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And so are you literally created separate bank accounts for each of these, and then when the money comes in from a single payment, then you push those percentages to those bank accounts?
Yes.
Okay.
So I have different, right now I use Square, but I also have another bank account, and all bank accounts will allow you to do that, to kind of move your money around. Because it just helps us as the business owner to see where we're standing at, like how much money we have. Do we need to increase sales? Do we need to increase services? Should we have a sale? Because if you are seeing that your profits are low after you take all of this money out that's not really yours, then you can see what you really need to work on.
Okay, so you can actually see a clear picture of how much you really made versus how much you think you made, because, a treatment comes in, let's say whatever, it's like $500 comes in. Awesome, I made 500, but not really. It's actually, you got to take this out for taxes. You got to take this out for the cost that it costs you to provide it. Okay. And then so that makes it easy when you actually go back and both have to pay your expenses, but also it makes business decisions easier then.
And it just flows. It's just cash flow. And then I manage my inventory too. That's another key thing. I don't want a lot of things that aren't selling. So if I find things aren't selling, I'll just have a quick sale to get rid of it and then really hone in on the things that are selling and keep that in stock always.
Sure. Does Square make that easier to do?
Yes. And anything that you do, any kind of like booking thing that you use will show you that. Or your accountant definitely will show you.
Okay.
And most banks, I really like that they're doing this, but they have these business tools so you can see where your money's going.
Okay.
So if you explore those and maximize on those, I know that through Wells Fargo, I had so many tools that I loved. Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. All right. Thanks for sharing that. I appreciate it because these are some of the things that as I'm growing the business, it's trying to look at it through more than just the revenue and then just the expenses. Like I want to have like a clearer picture of it than just that. So, all right, that gave me some homework. So
nice.
Thank you. Nice. I appreciate it. Can I ask you about when it comes to skincare and things like that? Like, what role do hormones play in that?
Hormones play a huge, huge role, especially in acne. It's like the main reason why acne exists. As our androgen level rises, or testosterone, it interacts with all the bacteria in our skin and it causes us to inflame and have breakouts. So if you're stressed or you are, sick or any of those factors, you can see that you'll be able to see that you're breaking out.
Okay. And is that because those kind of hormones are basically like growth hormones, so they interact with the bacteria and then cause it to grow, which makes things inflamed?
It's basically like acne food.
Okay. All right. That's a good way to put it. Because I don't know, I had acne in high school, and I think one of the things that I ended up doing were the light therapies and some acne facials and stuff.
Yes. Blue light therapy is amazing. It's absolutely amazing. And it helps to kill the bacteria that's on the surface of the skin.
Okay.
And there's all types of different color light therapies. Red light therapy was developed by NASA. They found that it was actually helping develop collagen fibers. It helps to bring hair growth stimulation and all types of stuff. Yeah.
Okay.
It's pretty neat.
When if somebody's doing the two light therapies, do you think red light or blue light first? Because I know people will combine them. So which one would you say to do as the first one?
You can combine them, so you can get the benefits of both. One is really kind of anti-aging, and the other one is kind of just getting rid of the acne. And
blue light is the disinfectant one? Okay, got it. Yeah, I remember I did them, but it was, 13 years ago now. Yeah. It's been
around for a while now. It's pretty cool. It's pretty neat.
Yeah, it did a lot. So then, when you're working with people, what are all kind of the treatments that you end up combining? Do you do any of that stuff, or what is everything that you like kind of have to offer and combine and put together? How does that work?
So I have a blue light that I have in clinic, and I also have one that I rent out in case, you can't buy one. But blue light is so important for at home. And I do offer it in clinic too. But for especially at home, because you're doing it every single night, you can really tackle that inflammation and bacteria. So I keep them on. I keep a couple in my spa to sell and rent out.
Okay, got it. So you can do that every night then?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. And so I guess by killing pieces of the infection, then you're bringing the inflammation down by virtue of like killing that bacteria. So it's not feeding on the hormones that are already in there.
Mm-hmm. And then the skincare is rebalancing the levels in the skin. That's where the skincare comes in, and it allows the skin to heal and to give it that pause to be like, okay, let's heal. And then when you're healed, you can fight these infections off better. So when they try to come back, your skin can be like, no, I don't think so.
Okay, got it. So it's tackling, so that's, okay, so it's tackling the infection first, dealing with that underlying piece, and then the skincare piece is not as much about killing the infection. It's about giving your skin the, like we said before, the tools that it needs to actually heal itself. Mm-hmm. And then when the cycle goes to start again, so you're kind of breaking the cycle of acne pretty much.
Yeah, and there are some tools that do kind of break up the acne and target. So we do have some spot treatments that are great, and they help to open up the pore and get everything out. But for the most part, it's just supporting the skin health and trying to get it back to that homeostasis level.
Okay, cool. Well, so in addition to these services and everything like that, is there anything else that we should be touching on? Any questions that I'm not asking that you help people with?
I am offering one-on-one coaching for estheticians that need more help. That's a course that should be available on my website soon, so look out for it. Nice. I really want to help and give back to my community and just kind of like give them a leg up, because I was completely confused, especially during a whole shutdown. It was just like a complete reset. So I just want to help my fellow SD besties out there.
Okay, cool.
Shout out to Athena. I love you.
Nice. Shout out, Athena. Well, and so I guess that has come from, where did that come from? Is it coming from talking with other estheticians who are trying to figure this stuff out, or is it newer estheticians that are trying to figure it out? How did you kind of decide that, all right, I need to help other estheticians, and this is kind of the best way forward, at least for now?
I really didn't know it was a role. I just kind of felt like I kept getting asked the same questions like over and over and over again, but just by different estheticians. So that was kind of my clue that a lot of girls were probably seeing what I was doing and maybe needed more help, and maybe I could develop something that they could go to and, go back to and just keep growing.
Okay. And so when they're coming to you, what are they typically asking questions about, or what are they typically struggling with? I guess let's start there. So
a lot of them are like startup. They don't really know like what products to use, or just the different aspects of like what kind of treatments we can and can't do. A lot of estheticians don't know that. Just how to look at a skincare line and how to determine that that's something you want to bring on. Like, what is that process like? How to research ingredients and stuff like that. And I think the most important thing is just kind of developing where they're heading. So that whatever they're using Canva for, whatever these tools are for, they know where they're heading and what they're using it for. So if they want to do, just brows and lashes, like this is the space you should be in, and and always getting a mentor. I feel like even I get a new mentor, because I feel like learning is the most important thing to do. Like, you always need to keep learning. So I always tell them, like, even after this, keep learning, keep putting yourself in classes, and find a person that you can be with that's really going to help you get to that next level.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's something that Francis and I talked about on here, is how important it is to do that. And I guess like we were saying before, is in some ways I'm almost getting to do that with this podcast. Like, I get like this conversation. Like, I just learned a ton from you on how to run a business, and then how you look at taking care of customers, and this cash flow piece that's very interesting. That opened my eyes a lot. But yeah, just to keep on learning, because otherwise I feel like I get stagnant, and then I don't know if you have this, but if I'm not continuing to learn or feel like I'm doing new things, I almost feel like I end up disliking the main thing that I'm doing, but it's not because I really dislike it. It's just because I stopped learning, and then it almost feels like your vision gets smaller and like the walls keep closing. I don't know. Do you ever get like that kind of feeling?
Oh yeah. Especially since I had to slow down a little bit because I went a little education tour for a minute there, but I can definitely feel the difference from like before I started that, and like the esthetician I was before and the esthetician I am now is a totally different esthetician. Like I feel more empowered, and I feel like everybody in their industry, when they go out there and they go to these seminars and they're motivated, they bring back that motivation with them. They bring back the networking, the skills, the friendships, and that's it keeps the fire going, because we run out of it after a while. We're just like, I'm tired, all these hats. So it's nice. It's nice to get a little refresh and think, well, I didn't think about it like that. That's cool. I like that. Mm-hmm. So
that's the biggest thing I get out of these conferences. Like I just went to one 2 weeks ago in Dallas, and just seeing the way that people approach their podcast and how they really how they help their guests like share information and share the content and do these things, and even securing like sponsorships and things like that. It just it starts to make me it opens my mind, and it helps me see what's possible. Not even that I learn so much about the specific technical way to do it, just that knowing that option is even out there. And then when the time comes and my window opens up and I have the resources to do something, I'm like, all right, there's something there. I don't know how I'm going to pull it off, but I know that there's a path there. Yeah. I just got to find it.
Yeah. And it's like, you can always feel it. It's like it's a pull. Like it pulls you, and you're like, I have to go here. I have to do this, and it has to be now. So. And
there's always a little aspect. Yeah, that's a perfect way of putting it. And there's always little aspects that you see of other people doing things. You're like, yeah, I can get there, and I'm drawn to that. And it's kind of funny too. Is like I went to it last year, and I saw that people were doing a certain thing, creating memberships, running all these things, and I tried to do it last year. And I didn't even have the step 1. That's like step 4. And I didn't have the step 1 figured out. And then I went back this year, and I have the step 1 figured out. And now I'm like, oh, okay, 2, 3, and 4, now that's there. I only saw step 4 before, and I was like, of course I can get there. But I didn't have the bridge to get there. And now I'm like, okay, I'm solid here, and now I can build the bridge to get to where I want to go.
Yeah, and that's the most important part, is the foundation. You can't get anywhere.
So is that a big part of when you're helping estheticians kind of plan this stuff out? Is like, okay, like you said, okay, figure out your core, and then how do you help them build that foundation of their business? Like start to build that foundation. What do you tell them to focus on?
Really just focus on what their strengths are. So if they're really, really great at doing lashes and brows, then make that your main thing. Start doing before and afters, get girls in, get models, training. You have to get as many people in your chair as you can to get before and afters and show your work. That's what everybody wants to see. So if you can show your work, then that will drive more people to come in. And that's where I like to focus with first too, is like how to take pictures. It's so important, like the different techniques, and like you wouldn't think of this as a business owner, but that's important. How you present your baby to the world is how they're gonna accept it. Like, is this gonna be a place that I could really invest my time in and my energy? Because that's what ultimately your client is asking. Like, can I do this with you or not?
Yeah, and what does it look like for me to put myself in that chair? Yeah, can I see myself there, and should I even consider doing business with this person?
Exactly.
Okay, no, that's cool. Well, and I think that's it's pretty awesome that that's kind of the next chapter almost, is helping other estheticians do it, because one of the cool things I think that's happening with the internet is that people that figure things out, they're realizing that anybody can figure it out if they really want to. So I'm almost kind of at the point of, what's the point of hiding the secrets of like how you did it or what you did, more so than I'll literally tell anybody how I did this. Like I will help you get there. I don't know. It's a nice change versus, I don't want to tell you anything. These are my secrets.
Yeah. And I really think that it presents a different attitude too, just on everything, like how you are about your business and how you are within your own community. Are you supportive of it? Like, are you going to be like, oh, you're competitive? And in the beauty industry, it is like that. It is very cutthroat. I feel like, it's just really sad. So I just really want to be different so that estheticians or anybody in the beauty industry for that matter can receive that and be like, maybe we don't have to be like that.
Yeah, I can share this information. Like it's not the end of the world.
Yeah, because your customers at the end of the day, they come to you because of you. You are the professional that they trust in. They're not going to go to somebody else just because. And if they are, they're going to do that anyways. Nothing that you do, nothing that no shade you throw at her is going to keep her.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that customer. Yeah, that's a good point. Customers are going to do what they're going to do anyway. So, yeah, agreed. Well, all right. So, is there anything else that we should cover before we wrap up?
No, I think we covered everything.
All right.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I really appreciate you coming in and doing this because, like I said, I actually learned a lot from this, and believe it or not, like, although I can't retain the information that you're putting in the post because I don't have the issue, so the things it's not made for me, but you got me thinking about how I actually present my own brand and things like that. So maybe an unintended consequence of the stuff that you put out, but you did get me thinking about that stuff. So thank you. I appreciate it. And so where can people find you either on social media, and then how do people actually get in touch with you to work with you either for themselves on the skincare front or to work with you as an esthetician?
So you can reach me. I'm on Instagram. I'm the Naples Aesthetician, and my website is beautyaesthetics.com. I'm across the street from Mercado in the Pavilion and inside Jaylee Salon Suites. If you give me a call at 239-298-0084, that's my phone number. You could text me anytime. You can reach me there. You can book from my website as well. But yeah, just give me a call or send me a DM.
Sweet. Okay. All right. Well, thanks for coming and doing this. I appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Awesome. All right. Thank you, everybody. This episode is brought to you by Southwest Florida Podcasts. If you're a business in Southwest Florida and you want to use a podcast to grow your business, scan the QR code on your screen or visit the link in the show notes at www.swflpodcast.com.